in these plays, generally speaking, the number one visceral connection for audiences, and particularly this is true in a big theater like the Elizabethan, the number one connection to the viscera is language. That actually, this is a Shakespeare's dramaturgy is such that, if he needs a moon, somebody has to talk about it, and so the so I think that and one of the great things, of course, about a festival stage like OSF is that the sense of complicity with the audience is embedded in generations of tradition, and in the physical space that, in the great wooden O that you sit in. So you're in that theater, you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, and indeed, almost every night with the curtain going up at 8, everybody's visible to everybody else, and so there's a clear sense of shared space and shared storytelling, usually through the language, but I think also through the sort of delicious stage machinery of how Shakespeare plots the plays, and his invitations to spectacle as you go. What I hope people will experience visually, well, two things. One is and so the source of the language, of course, is the actors. So I think that in that outdoor space, what you want to privilege is the relationship of the actors as character to the audience. And this production will likely be, people will be wearing clothing of the 15th century when the actual historical events happened, the very telescoped historical events of the play. And those costumes do a lot to convey the relative hierarchy of status, from kings to dukes to knights to commoners, and yet they have to be revealing enough that you feel the character is more important than the distinctions of character are more important than the clothing itself. And then I think the play is, in a way, a kind of engine that unleashes the fundamental malevolence, not only of Richard III, but also of all the other people striving for the crown. And so I think what I hope is that we'll sort of expand on what the Elizabethan theater already looks like, to make it a more aggressive and folding stage engine of evil. And so that's, not try to disguise the kind of theater we're in, but rather to heighten its creep factor. So one of the things that Dan Donahue, who's playing Richard, and I have talked about is in what traditional interpretation might this production land or not. And there are many people who believe that Richard's deformity, for instance, is a physical manifestation of his evil. We're not interested in that interpretation. The question of, for us, what's key and visceral, as you say, and immediate in the play is Richard's perspective on his deformity, which actually changes over has different iterations over the course of the play, and other characters' perspectives on his deformity, and those perspectives and behaviors in the course of the play need to be seen as owned by those characters, rather than as a kind of monolithic representation of what a character with physical disabilities is as a human being. that's really important to both of us.